Mark adjusted his backpack nervously as he stood at the entrance of Colombo Institute of Technology. The sprawling campus with its modern architecture made him feel small and out of place. Students streamed past him in designer clothes, many stepping out of luxury cars that cost more than his family's entire home in Kandy. Just breathe, he whispered to himself. His admission had been hard-earned through a scholarship, the only way his parents could afford to send him to this prestigious private university. The orientation hall buzzed with excited chatter. Mark took a seat in the back row, trying to be invisible. The dean's welcome speech faded into background noise as Mark's attention drifted to a group of students entering fashionably late. That's when he saw her. She moved with effortless grace, her long dark hair cascading down her shoulders. Unlike the ostentatious displays of wealth around her, she wore a simple white kurti with jeans. Yet something about her commanded attention, perhaps the quiet confidence in her smile or the kindness in her eyes as she greeted everyone in her path. Is this seat taken? Mark looked up, startled to find those same kind eyes looking directly at him. It was her. And no, he stammered, quickly moving his bag. I'm Anna, she said, extending her hand. This dean always talks for ages, so we might as well be seat buddies. Mark hesitantly shook her hand. I'm Mark. First year computer science? She asked. He nodded, wondering why someone like her would choose to sit next to him when there were plenty of empty seats near the front where her friends were. Me too, she smiled. I noticed you earlier, you looked as terrified as I feel. You? Terrified? Mark couldn't mask his surprise. But you seem so put together? Anna laughed softly. Trust me, it's all an act. Everyone here is pretending they belong. The sincerity in her voice caught Mark off guard. There was something refreshingly genuine about her that contrasted with the pretentious atmosphere around them. I definitely don't belong, Mark admitted. Anna's eyes sparkled. That's exactly why I think you do. Write a love novel. The first week of university passed in a blur. Mark still couldn't believe that Anna, the most captivating girl he'd ever met, had not only spoken to him but seemed genuinely interested in his company. He'd spent every lunch break with her, sharing stories about his childhood in a small village outside Kandy while she listened intently, asking questions about his family and life that no one had ever cared enough to ask before. Friday afternoon arrived, and Mark was gathering his books after their advanced programming class when Anna approached, surrounded by a group of friends who looked like they'd stepped out of a fashion magazine. Mark. These are my friends I've been telling you about, Anna said, her smile warming him from the inside. Everyone, this is Mark. Mark nodded awkwardly, suddenly conscious of his worn jeans and the faded t-shirt he'd owned for 3 years. Anna's friends, 2 girls and 3 boys, assessed him with curious expressions. So you're the scholarship genius Anna won't shut up about, said one of the guys, extending his hand. I'm Ravi. That's Naveen, Kiran, Shalini, and Dinu. Nice to meet you all, Mark managed, surprised by Anna's apparent praise of him. Shalini, a tall girl with perfectly styled hair, raised an eyebrow. Anna says you beat everyone in the coding assessment. Even Naveen, and his father owns a software company. Naveen shrugged good-naturedly. I know when I'm outmatched. We should collaborate sometime, Mark. We're heading to Colombo City Center for dinner and then to Club Marissa, Anna announced. You're coming with us, right, Mark? Mark froze. He'd never been to either place, and his wallet contained exactly enough rupees for his bus fare home and nothing more. I should probably study, he began, but Anna cut him off. It's Friday. Everyone needs a break. Come on, I'll drive. Before he could formulate another excuse, Anna had linked her arm through his, leading him toward the parking lot. Her friends followed, chatting about reservations and which club had the best DJ this weekend. Anna's white BMW gleamed in the afternoon sun as she casually pressed her key fob. Mark slid into the passenger seat, trying to appear nonchalant despite his racing heart. The interior was all polished wood and sophisticated displays, making him afraid to touch anything as Anna's friends piled into the back. The drive to Colombo city center was filled with laughter and conversation that Mark struggled to follow. Discussions about weekend trips to the Maldives, the latest iPhone models, and boutique openings. He gazed out the window, watching the city transform from university grounds to upscale neighborhoods with manicured gardens. At the restaurant, an elegant place with mood lighting and waiters in crisp uniforms, Mark stared at the menu in horror. The prices for a single meal equaled what his mother spent on groceries for a week. "I recommend the wagyu burger," Anna said, noticing his discomfort. "It's what I always get." "I'll have that too," Mark agreed quickly, having no idea what wagyu meant but relieved to have a decision made. When the elaborate meals arrived, Mark stared at the spread of silverware before him with quiet panic. At home, they ate simple rice and curry with their fingers or basic spoons. He had never encountered 3 different forks, 2 types of knives, and various sized spoons arranged with military precision around his plate. He discreetly watched Anna select a knife and fork, then mimicked her movements. The burger, artfully stacked and towering with gourmet ingredients, presented another challenge. It was too tall to bite into politely, but cutting it risked the whole construction collapsing. When he finally attempted to slice it, the knife slipped, sending a piece of tomato shooting across the pristine white tablecloth. "Sorry," he mumbled, face burning with embarrassment. "Don't be," Anna said quietly. "These things are architectural nightmares. I usually deconstruct mine," she demonstrated by taking her burger apart and eating the components separately. Mark followed her lead, grateful for the guidance offered without judgment. Throughout dinner, Mark observed the casual way Anna and her friends ordered expensive dishes and cocktails, discussing them with the knowledge of connoisseurs. When Naveen insisted on paying for everyone, because father's company just landed a government contract, Mark felt a twinge of both relief and shame. As dessert arrived, elaborate confections that looked like artwork, Anna leaned closer to Mark. The dessert came with yet another specialized spoon and fork, which Mark eyed warily. "You okay?" she asked softly. "You've been quiet." "I'm fine," he replied, forcing a smile. "Just taking it all in." Anna's eyes, warm and perceptive, studied him. "You've never been to a place like this before, have you?" Mark considered lying but couldn't bring himself to do it, not to Anna. He shook his head slightly. Instead of pity or awkwardness, Anna's face lit up with genuine excitement. "Then I'm honored to share this with you," she said, discreetly demonstrating how to use the dessert utensils. "There are so many things we can experience together for the first time." The sincerity in her voice made Mark's heart skip. Perhaps their worlds weren't as different as they seemed, or perhaps Anna was the rare kind of person who could bridge any gap with nothing but her smile. Chapter 3. Unexpected Invitation. 2 weeks into the semester, Mark had fallen into a comfortable routine. Mornings were for classes, afternoons for the library, and whenever Anna invited him, which was increasingly often, evenings were spent navigating her world of privilege with growing, if still awkward, confidence. Today, however, Anna had been mysteriously absent from their shared morning lecture. Mark checked his phone repeatedly, but no messages appeared. By lunchtime, concern had begun to gnaw at him. Looking for Anna? Ravi appeared beside Mark in the cafeteria line. To Mark's surprise, Anna's friends had continued to include him even when she wasn't around. "Yeah, she missed Professor Jayawardene's lecture." "Not like her." Ravi chuckled. "It's her birthday. She always takes the day off." Mark nearly dropped his tray. "Her birthday? She never mentioned it." "That's Anna for you, hates being the center of attention. But we're surprising her tonight at her family's estate in Dihawala. You should come." Mark's stomach tightened. He had nothing to give her, and an estate? The thought was intimidating. "I don't think I can make it," he began. "Nonsense," Ravi cut him off. "She'll want you there. I'll text you the address, be there at 7. All afternoon, Mark's mind raced between excitement and panic. After classes, he withdrew nearly all his monthly allowance from the bank and took a bus to Peta Market. Among the bustling stalls, he searched desperately for something meaningful yet affordable. After an hour of searching, he found a small wooden carving of a lotus flower. The craftsman told him it symbolized purity rising from muddy waters, beauty emerging from humble beginnings. It seemed perfect for Anna, and though it cost most of his money, Mark didn't hesitate. Finding Anna's home proved another challenge. The address led him to a gated community where a security guard eyed his simple clothes suspiciously before calling the house. To Mark's relief, his name was on the guest list. The estate was actually a sprawling colonial-style mansion with manicured gardens and a circular driveway where luxury vehicles were already parked. Mark clutched his small wrapped package, feeling increasingly out of place as he approached the grand entrance. A uniformed butler answered the door. "Mr. Mark? Please follow me." Mark was led through a foyer larger than his entire home, past artwork that probably cost more than his education, and into a garden courtyard illuminated by elegant string lights. About 40 people mingled around a pool, drinks in hand, dressed in what Mark recognized as casual designer wear, casual, that likely cost several months of his family's income. "Mark. You came." Anna's voice cut through his anxiety. She appeared in a simple blue dress, her hair loose around her shoulders. Unlike the others, her joy seemed entirely genuine as she hurried toward him. "Happy birthday," he said, awkwardly extending his small package. "It's not much, but..." "You got me something?" She looked touched, taking the package with careful hands. "No one told you about tonight, did they?" "Ravi said he'd find you." "He did, this afternoon." Anna shook her head. "I'm so sorry. I should have told you myself, but I didn't want to make a big deal about it." She carefully unwrapped the package, gasping softly when she saw the wooden lotus. "Mark, it's beautiful." "The artisan said it represents beauty rising from humble beginnings," Mark explained, then immediately regretted his words. "Not that I'm saying you're..." "No," she interrupted, her eyes shining. "I understand perfectly. It's the most thoughtful gift I've received tonight." Before he could respond, she leaned forward and kissed his cheek, her lips soft against his skin. "Come meet my parents," she said, taking his hand. "They've been curious about you." Mark's heart raced as Anna led him toward a distinguished-looking couple speaking with what appeared to be a government minister. Her father, tall with gray-streaked hair, wore an expression of practiced neutrality. Her mother, elegantly dressed, assessed Mark with undisguised curiosity. "Mother, father," Anna said, her grip on Mark's hand tightening slightly. "This is Mark, my friend from university I've been telling you about." The slight hesitation before friend wasn't lost on Mark, or apparently on her father, whose eyebrow raised fractionally. "The scholarship student?" her father asked, extending his hand. "Anna says you're quite brilliant." Mark felt himself standing at the edge of a precipice, about to step into a world that had never been meant for someone like him, all because a girl with kind eyes had chosen to see something in him that others hadn't bothered to look for. Chapter 4. Behind the Wheel. The birthday party had marked a turning point. After meeting Anna's parents, who had been surprisingly cordial despite the obvious class difference, Mark found himself increasingly drawn into Anna's world. Their friendship bloomed into something neither of them had named yet, but which hung in the air between them like an unspoken promise. One Tuesday afternoon, 3 weeks after her birthday, Anna approached Mark after class with an unexpected request. "I need to drop some documents at my father's office downtown. Want to come along? We could grab coffee afterward." Mark agreed immediately. Any time with Anna was time well spent, even if it meant venturing further into the intimidating landscape of her privileged life. Her father's company occupied the top 3 floors of one of Colombo's gleaming glass skyscrapers. As Anna pulled into the executive parking garage beneath the building, Mark marveled at the sleek luxury vehicles filling nearly every space. "I'll just be a few minutes," Anna said, gathering a leather portfolio from the backseat. "Father's assistant needs these signed contracts today. Do you mind waiting in the car?" "I won't be long." "No problem," Mark replied, settling back in the passenger seat of her BMW. Anna handed him her phone. "You can listen to music if you want. Back in 10. As her footsteps faded toward the elevator, Mark found himself alone in the most expensive vehicle he'd ever been inside. The leather seats, the polished dashboard, the sophisticated technology, it all represented a world so far removed from his own that it might as well have been from another planet. Curiosity overcame him. Glancing around to ensure he was truly alone, Mark carefully unbuckled his seatbelt and slid into the driver's seat. His hands hovered over the steering wheel, not quite touching it at first, as if it might burn him. Finally, he placed his hands at the 10 and 2 o'clock positions, just as he'd seen in movies. The steering wheel was smooth and cool beneath his fingers. Though the engine was off, Mark could imagine the power humming beneath the hood. Vroom, vroom, he whispered, then laughed at his own childishness. But the fantasy had taken hold. He adjusted the rearview mirror, pretending to check for traffic. He shifted his feet, pressing imaginary pedals. And Mark Pereira pulls ahead in the final lap, he narrated in a hushed announcer's voice. The crowd goes wild. He turned the wheel slightly, making engine noises with his mouth growing louder as he pretended to accelerate around a tight corner. His sound effects became more elaborate, tires squealing as he took an imaginary hairpin turn, engine roaring as he downshifted. So absorbed was he in his fantasy that he didn't notice Anna standing a short distance away, watching him through the windshield with an expression of surprised amusement. When their eyes met, Mark froze mid-sound effect, mortification washing over him in a hot wave. Anna quickly composed her face into neutrality and approached the car. Mark scrambled back to the passenger seat, his face burning with embarrassment. "Sorry about that," Anna said as she slid into the driver's seat, acting as if she hadn't seen anything unusual. "Father wanted to talk about some changes to the contract." Mark mumbled something noncommittal, wishing the luxurious leather seat would swallow him whole. The drive to the coffee shop was filled with Anna's casual chatter about her classes and plans for the weekend, while Mark responded with one-word answers, still recovering from his humiliation. Later that evening, Anna was relaxing in her bedroom, working on an assignment when her phone chimed with a text from Shalini. "Call me. I'm bored and need entertainment." Anna video called her friend, balancing her phone against her laptop as she continued typing. "What's up?" Shalini asked. "How was your day?" "Mostly uneventful," Anna replied. "Dropped some papers at Dad's office with Mark." "Oh? How's scholarship boy doing? Still intimidated by your father's wealth?" Anna frowned slightly at Shalini's tone. "He's fine. Working harder than all of us combined." "You really like him, don't you?" Shalini's voice held a note of genuine curiosity beneath the teasing. "I do," Anna admitted. "He's different." "Different how?" Anna thought for a moment, then remembered the car incident. "He's authentic. Unspoiled by pretense." Without thinking through the implications, she added, "Actually, something kind of adorable happened today. I have it on my dash cam." Anna pulled up the footage on her phone and shared her screen with Shalini. The camera had perfectly captured Mark in the driver's seat, making engine noises and turning the wheel, completely lost in his innocent fantasy. Shalini's laughter rang through the phone. "Oh my god, that's hilarious. Is he making car noises with his mouth? Has he never driven before?" Anna laughed along, but something about Shalini's reaction made her uncomfortable. "His family doesn't have a car," she explained, suddenly wishing she hadn't shared the video. "Send it to me," Shalini insisted, still giggling. "That's too precious." "I don't think," Anna began, but Shalini cut her off. "Come on, I won't show anyone. I just need something to cheer me up after failing Professor Gunasekara's quiz." Against her better judgment, Anna forwarded the clip. As soon as she did, a sense of unease settled over her. What had seemed like an intimate, endearing moment now felt like a betrayal of Mark's trust. "I should go," she said abruptly. "I need to finish this assignment." After hanging up, Anna sat staring at her phone, a creeping sense of guilt washing over her. She'd shared something private without considering how Mark would feel or how others might see him. In trying to share what she found endearing about him, had she inadvertently made him a source of amusement for her wealthy friends? The thought that she might have hurt Mark, even unintentionally, made her stomach knot with regret. The divide between their worlds suddenly seemed wider than ever, and for the first time, Anna worried that her carelessness might have damaged something precious before it had truly begun.